Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devops.school.com.
Quickly, I'll revise that last part of our discussion about message-driven microservices. Today, what I'll do is I'll quickly go through this message-driven microservices basics again, and then I'll introduce you to Spring Cloud Stream. We'll see how to send and receive messages to RabbitMQ. Then today we'll also discuss about a very important thing, domain-driven design. So we'll see how to actually design our microservices using this DDD approach, and we'll try to understand all the concepts of domain-driven design. Maybe we'll not be able to complete the whole domain-driven design. I'll try to complete some part of domain-driven design today, then we'll continue from the same point tomorrow also. So let us get started with message-driven microservices. Quickly, I'll revise. So we understood that Spring Cloud Stream, which we use for messaging, which we are going to use for messaging, is dependent on Spring integration. And we discussed some basics of Spring integration. Let me quickly tell you what is that Spring integration. So I just started with an example. Suppose if you have two applications, application A and application B, B is exposing SOAP web service and application A wants to consume that SOAP web service. Normally what we do is, by using WSDL, we generate the code and we use that code to consume that B. So if we are following that approach, we understood about loose coupling. Are these two applications loosely coupled? Yes, Satish, you're able to hear me? Anything yet you want to tell to me, Satish? Yeah. So go ahead. If you want to talk, please unmute and talk better. Satish, I'll cover once we are done with microservices, right? Anyway, I have to show deployment of microservices to PCF. So I'll show at once. Oh, okay, no problem, Satish. So once we complete this microservices, most probably whenever possible, by this Friday, I will show you the remaining part on PCF. Okay. Okay. Shall I go ahead? Okay, fine. So we understood that there will be loose coupling between the SOAP web service and my application. What do I mean by loose coupling? Yeah, sure, definitely, Satish, and we are not going to miss anything whatever I have mentioned in my agenda. Everything whatever I have mentioned in my agenda will be covered in detail, right? So don't worry at all. I will not even rush. I will not do it. I'll spend good amount of time and I'll give you everything. So actually, Why I postponed is I have to do that installation, and on that day I was not able to do because I didn't wake up. So I thought anyway I have to show this microservices deployment on PCF. So I thought why I can't postpone that. That's the only reason, otherwise nothing else. Okay, so let's go ahead. So quickly I will revise what I have done, and quickly I'll go to the topics. So when application A and application B are talking to each other, there is loose coupling if we are consuming a SOAP web service, because let's assume that today the SOAP web service is implemented using Java and tomorrow they migrated to .NET. Implementation changed, but contract is same. Do you think my code needs to change? No, right? So there is loose coupling. But what about logical coupling? We understood what is logical coupling. When A is talking to B, A should not know whether B is a SOAP service or a REST service or some other application, right? And A should not know where is B located. If you are doing integration in such a way, we can say that these two applications are logically coupled. And we also discussed, if I want to achieve logical coupling, what we need to do is somehow in my application A, I need to create a in-memory queue, or in integration terminology, we call this in-memory queue as channels. So somehow if I can create a in-memory queue or a channel, then in my code, whenever I want to send a message or whenever I want to talk to B, right, instead of my code creating a SOAP message, my code should somehow create a generic message. Of course, every message will have headers and payload. So it should create a generic message which is not specific to any protocol. Then keep it inside this channel. Then somehow if I can configure a SOAP adapter, what it will do, it will check for any messages inside this in-memory channel, and it will convert this generic message to a SOAP message and will make a call to B. And once the response comes, it will take the SOAP response, convert it to again a generic message and keep it in another channel. So like that, my application code does not know whether it is talking to SOAP service or REST service or anything. And in my code, I will never hard code the endpoint URLs or nothing. Everything will be in configuration, right? So now if I'm using this combination of a in-memory channel and adapter, my code is logically coupled to this application, because in my code, I'm not creating a SOAP message. I don't know whether finally this will talk to SOAP web service also, right? What is the advantage? Tomorrow, if the same application B is exposed over REST, my code will not change. I will convert the SOAP adapter to a REST adapter. That's all in the configuration. That is the advantage of logical coupling. Then later we also understood that sometimes, let's assume that we need to talk to multiple services conditionally, and let's say I am having data in JSON format. I need to send the data to all these applications in some other format like XML. So whenever my code keeps the data in this channel, the JSON data, a transformer is a component which will convert the JSON to XML. Then if you want to apply some filtering logic on the data, you can apply a filter in the configuration. Then the filtered message will be kept here. Then I can configure a router, another component called as a router, which will evaluate some condition. It will check some conditions. If some condition is satisfied, it will keep that message into another channel here. If another condition is satisfied, it will keep it here. Otherwise, here. So basically router will actually route the message to any of these channels. Then here I have a SOAP adapter which will consume B, maybe a REST adapter which will consume C, another adapter which will consume D. So like that, my message can travel over some set of channels, transformers, filters, routers, and wide variety of adapters. So if I can design my application in this way, then my code is logically coupled, right? So I need a library or a framework which will provide me a way to declaratively configure these in-memory channels, transformers, filters, routers, and wide variety of adapters. And Spring integration is one of such framework. And our Spring Cloud stream, what we are going to discuss right now, is on the top of Spring integration. Okay. Now we have got the base. Let us see how we can send a message to RabbitMQ. We also understood about RabbitMQ destinations, and difference between JMS and AMQP we understood. In JMS, we have destinations like queue and a topic. But in AMQP, the sender needs to send a message to an exchange, right? And what we do is in AMQP, actually RabbitMQ is implementing AMQP, ActiveMQ, all are implementing AMQP. In RabbitMQ, let's say what we can do, we can create an exchange. We can create multiple queues with different names, like I can have a queue with name A, queue with name B, C. What we have to do is we have to bind the queues to exchange using a routing key, whatever routing key. So let's assume that this queue is bound to routing key A, this key is bound to B, and C is bound to star A.
Hey viewers, our Master in DevOps engineering program can help you to hone the skills necessary to succeed in high-level DevOps positions. So, what are you waiting for? Enroll now and earn certification that show you are keeping pace with today's technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
A wildcard. Then, whenever a sender is sending a message, in the message there should be a header called as routing key. Let's say I'm sending a message with routing key A to this exchange. The exchange, it will see the routing key is A, and then it will put the message on this A, and also this is also matching star A, right? It will put the message over here. Then the receiver applications can receive the messages from here, right? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you in RabbitMQ. I'll create an exchange, I'll create a queue, bind this queue to exchange using a routing key, right? So let us see. I think I have RabbitMQ already running on my machine. Let me check. I have installed RabbitMQ already. Yes, it is not started. I'll start it. Okay. So localhost 15672. This is the management console of RabbitMQ. Just wait. Yes, this is the management console. 15672 is a port of RabbitMQ, and I will actually log in with a default username guest and password is guest. So this is a UI of RabbitMQ. I'll go to exchanges. There are multiple exchanges. Okay. I will delete this exchanges to be clear. Just a minute, I'll delete the existing ones so that I'll show you clearly. Queues, these are the queues. I'll delete these queues also. Okay, so I'm going to create a exchange. Here it is. I'll say my exchange. I'll take all the defaults. There are different types of exchanges. Here I am selecting topic exchange. Whatever I have given in my example also is a topic exchange. It behaves like a topic, right? One message can also be given to multiple queues if routing key is matching. So in my example, also I have discussed about an exchange called as topic exchange. Yeah, there are different exchanges. Maybe it's out of scope right now. We'll discuss one about one exchange, topic exchange. I'll add exchange. So an exchange is created, my exchange. Then I'll go and create a queue. A simple queue, I'll say my queue. Create. Done. Then I'll click on this queue bindings. The queue can be bound to some exchange, right? So I want to bound this queue to my exchange. Bind this queue to my exchange. With routing key hash. Can be anything. Hash is a wildcard which will match anything. So bind. So now you can say queue is bound to my exchange. And if I go to here, exchanges, my exchange, you can see here also. This exchange has a binding to my queue with routing key hash. Now in my code, I want to send a message to this exchange first. Let us see how easy it is using Spring Cloud Stream module. And I hope you all are familiar with Boot. I'm not going to discuss about the basics of Boot. So the Spring Cloud Stream is on top of Boot and Spring integration. So step one, if I want to work with Spring Cloud Stream is in pom.xml, I have to add the dependency. So here I have projects created. I will give you my workspace download link where I have all the projects. So from today, we'll be working on all these projects. I'll be showing you the code step by step. Right. So I have created some projects. See here, there is a start project and there is solution project. For every topic, there will be start project and solution project. So I don't want you to start writing the code from scratch. It will waste a lot of time. Some code is already given to you and you will be working on specific configurations, right? Step by step. So if at any point of time, if you are unable to complete the solution, here is a solution you can see, right? We'll always work on start project. So here is my start project. I want to produce a message, right? So step one is in pom.xml. See here, my parent is the Springboot version 2.2.4 is what I am using. And I need to add the dependency of Spring Cloud Starter Stream Rabbit. So I want to use Spring Cloud Stream with RabbitMQ. So I added a dependency of Spring Cloud Starter Stream Rabbit. Yeah. Now, can anyone tell me what version of this dependency? I didn't use the version of dependency. Here also in Boot, we never use the dependency versions. Why? which version actually will be used. How does boot know? If you see dependency hierarchy, yeah, any answer? See here, actually 3.0.1 release is used. Spring Cloud Start Stream Rabbit 3.0.1, and these are the other dependencies, right? Where did I mention the version of Spring? Which version of Spring actually? You can see Spring version is 5.2.3. I didn't mention anywhere because all the versions.
It will take from parent.
Parent, exactly. Parent I mentioned boot version. This boot version will take care of versions. This parent will take care of versions. If I click on control, click on it. Here again, for this the parent is Springboot dependencies. If I control click on it, yes, here are the versions, right? All the versions are mentioned here. Okay, so we understood that when we are using boot, the boot parent will tell what version of boot, and on dependencies we don't. But actually this module, Spring Cloud Starter Stream Rabbit module, is not part of core boot. See, the group ID also is not org.spring.boot. Here it is org.spring.boot. Here it is org.springframework.cloud. So the dependent versions of these cloud modules are not managed by this boot parent. There is one more parent for all the cloud modules, Spring Cloud modules, right? So can one POM have two parents? No. So that's the reason why we added here in dependency management section. Here I added a dependency called Spring Cloud Dependencies, and the version of this is, here I mentioned spring-cloud.version. It is the cloud version. Hoxton SR1 is the cloud version, and here the scope is important. It's just for importing, right? Okay, so here in this cloud dependencies, the version of Spring Cloud Starter Stream will be that. Okay, so first step is I added Spring Cloud Starter Stream Rabbit as dependency. Then what I need to do here, I need to send a message to this exchange, my exchange in RabbitMQ, right? So see here, in my code, I have a simple, right now this is a simple example. Later I'm going to show you complex examples once I go to microservice, actual microservice implementation. But here I have a class called as greetings, which is just having a variable message, constructor, getters and setters, nothing much. Now what I want to do is I want to create an object of this greeting class and send it to RabbitMQ destination. So what all I have to do is, if I'm using Spring Cloud Stream, as I told you, I need to create a channel in my application. I need to create a channel in my application, right? Okay, let me just draw the diagram here. This is going to be my producer application.
Hey viewers, trying to get into DevSecOps? Enroll for our DevSecOps certified professional programs and earn the certification that shows you are fit for these technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
So here will be my code. What all I need to do? I need to somehow create a in-memory channel in my application. Channel I need to define, and I need to define an adapter. Let's say in this case RabbitMQ adapter, which will, whenever a message comes into this channel, it will send it to RabbitMQ destination, right? So I need to configure this channel. Here in this channel, a message which is kept in this channel is going out of my application, right? Such type of channels are called as out channels, output channels, out channel. Okay, I'll talk about in channel next. Now I need to define an out channel and configure an adapter for it, right? So what all we need to do is I need to define an interface first point. I need to define an interface. I'm calling it as my source, any name, and I need to define a method whose return type is message channel. Okay. Just wait. Okay, I'll need to import it. Yeah, I'm importing it. So I need to define a method in this interface whose return type is a message channel, and I have to annotate it with output and whatever name I want to give to my channel. Here I give hello out channel. Okay, that's all. Once I define this interface, Avinish, always channels are asynchronous, but there are mechanisms by using which we can make them asynchronous. Always they are synchronous only. Sorry, asynchronous only. Sorry, asynchronous. Because once we keep a message, somebody will take a message out of the channel, do the processing, and later keep another message into another channel. So channels are always asynchronous. They are in memory. Okay. So now I have created a message. I have created like this, right? Then in my configuration, if you see, I have application.yml. In the YML file, let's see what I am doing is I'm using spring.cloud.stream.bindings.hello out channel. Is this the same name here? Hello out channel. Hello out channel. What I'm doing, I'm binding it to a destination called as hello exchange. What is my exchange here? My exchange. My exchange name is my exchange, right? So I'll modify here. It is my exchange. This is the name of the exchange in my RabbitMQ. I'm mapping this hello out channel to a destination my exchange. But where? In RabbitMQ or Kafka or ActiveMQ, right? So here there is one more key called as binder, where I am writing Rabbit1. And under the same hierarchy like Spring Cloud Stream, here I have defined a binder. Binders is a map, and here is a key value pair. Binders, you can see it's a map. The first key is Rabbit1, same name. And under that I said type is Rabbit. And under the environment, I am writing the configuration and telling how to connect to my RabbitMQ. My RabbitMQ is running on localhost 5672 and username is guest and guest. Okay. Hey, don't get confused. 15672 is a web UI port, but for the broker port, it is 5672. Okay. So I told this one. So I have bound my hello out channel to an exchange, my exchange in this RabbitMQ. So the beauty, if you have to see here, let's assume that tomorrow I don't want to use RabbitMQ. I want to send the messages to Kafka destinations. My code need not change. What all I need to do is, if I want to send to Kafka, in my POM XML, I will have to configure here Spring Cloud Starter Stream Kafka. Okay. And then in the YML file, I just need to specify here type is Kafka. And in the environment, I need to configure spring.kafka. Some properties, just like spring.rabbitmq, how I have given. All this Kafka related connection properties I need to give. That's all, everything is in the configuration. Now, once I have told, I have bound my channel to destinations like this. right? I need to bind this channel to this destination, right? One more thing I need to do right now. In my configuration class, I need to enable binding. Again, I'll import this. I need to use enable binding my source dot class, the interface. Once I enable binding like that for the interface, an implementation will be automatically generated for this interface. Now see how I'm going to use it in my controller. This is my controller. Here is the REST controller. I injected my source. My source is an interface, right? Did I write the implementation? No. Once I enabled binding, automatically an implementation will be generated and it will be injected here. Then I created an object of greeting with the message whatever I'm getting from /greet, right? Then here I'm using source.myOutput. Source.myOutput. What is this source.myOutput returning? It is returning a channel dot send. Channel dot send, it will send to the channel. I need to create a message object, right? So here is a message builder to build a message. Okay. Message builder dot with payload. I want to create a message with payload greeting dot build. It will create a message and that is sent. That's all. And now in the return value for this greet, I'm just returning greeting object. So that's all. Let us check. Now I will try to run this application. So I'll close all the other projects. Now here I will start from the boot dashboard. I'm going to start this one. Let's see. Let it start. So it should start in embedded Tomcat. What is the Tomcat port initialized with? 2222. Oh, did I give the port 2222 here? Yes, here I gave the server port as 2222. Okay, now let me go and give a request to localhost 2222/greet and message is equals to hello. So I got the same as a JSON response because in my controller, anyway, I'm just creating a greeting object using the message and returning it. But I should see that the message is sent to Exchange. Let us check. Here in RabbitMQ, see here, this Exchange, my Exchange, it is bound to. Oh, wait, okay. See here, this is my Exchange. My Exchange is bound to my queue for routing key hash. Let us see the queues. Is there a queue called as my queue? Yes. Is there one message already? Yes. So if I go to my queue and if I say get messages, I want to get up to 10 messages. Get messages. See here is the message. Hello Siva. One message. Now again I will refresh. I'll just now say hello Prasad. Yes. Now I should see one more. Again I'll say get messages. There should be two messages right now. One more message to hello Prasad. Right. So I'm able to send messages to RabbitMQ very simply using this my source. Enable binding. What it will actually do is whatever bindings we have configured, binding hello out channel to a destination, my exchange will be done. So I told you that an implementation will be automatically generated for this interface, right? So actually that implementation, what will be the code? So in that implementation, what will happen? And RabbitMQ adapter will be configured and it will start polling for messages inside this channel. Whatever messages are there in this channel, they'll be taken and sent to the exchange. That's how it happens. Now we want to receive the messages. Okay, so what I will do is, actually, one small thing I want to tell you. What I did is, in RabbitMQ, I created my own exchange and I created my own queues, right? I can of course delete all this. Let me show you. I will delete this queue. In the exchange also, I will delete this exchange. Then let me restart this application once and check what will happen. Will those destinations be automatically created or not? Let us see. Okay. So now let us go to RabbitMQ console, refresh. See, my exchange is created automatically, right? So if I don't have an exchange in my RabbitMQ, automatically that will be created, right?
Hey viewers, are you looking for formal training on SRE practices? Take our SRE program. This course will teach you how to successfully implement site reliability engineering in the modern day 24/7 services. Kickstart your SRE training today. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
But queues are not created because this is the producer. It is just producing to the exchange, right? So once I write a receiver, I'll tell from which queue to receive, then a queue will be created. So let me just go ahead and see here, consumer. I want to consume messages. It's so easy. Step one is again in pom.xml, you need to add the dependency of Spring Cloud Starter Stream Rabbit. Okay, I'm doing this. Then I need to create an interface again. Here now you can see this is there's a method which I wrote. It should return a subscribable channel, a channel which can subscribe to messages. Subscribe, right? Okay, and this is the input channel. So I'll be receiving a message into this channel, right? So it's an input channel. I have to untitled with input. And then for this interface, I want the implementations to be automatically generated. So what I'll do in the main application, I have to, in the configuration file, I have to enable binding. Okay, I'll import it. Then very simple, what I have to do is I want to receive, right? Just for demonstration, here I have written a method which is taking greeting object and I will annotate it with stream listener. That's all. I'll import it. So once I configured it to listen for messages inside hello in channel, right? Whenever a message comes into hello in channel, it will be, this method will be invoked. But where did I tell this hello in channel should listen for messages inside which queue, right? So here is my YAML file. Again, spring.cloud.stream.bindings.hello in channel. I want it to be listening for messages inside a queue called as hello queue, which will be bound to hello exchange, and in the rabbit one, and here again same binder, right? So let me just run it and show you what will happen. What is the importance of group and this destination, group name and combination of destination, how it will work out. Let me show you. I'll start this consumer. Okay, consumer is started. Now here you can see there's one subscriber and all. To declaring a queue for inbound, what is the queue name? Hello exchange dot hello queue. See the queue name, declaring a queue for inbound, hello exchange dot hello queue is bound to hello exchange, right? So here actually I mentioned as hello exchange, right? But in my producer I mentioned it as my exchange, I guess. They have to match. Okay, I'll copy this and I'll paste it here. Okay, they have to match actually, right? So let me restart again, consumer. Once it starts, let us see. Yeah, here you can see my exchange dot hello queue is bound to my exchange. Let us see here in exchanges. Is there my exchange? Yes. And in the queues, see here there's one queue created called as my exchange dot hello queue, right? Okay. So what is the importance of group? Why we should use like this? Suppose if I start 3 instances of same consumer application, 3 instances of consumer application of same application, right? They should be treated as one group. 3 instances of same application. Let's say I'm scaling this. 3 instances of same application, they should be treated as one group. So once a message is received by one instance, it should not be received by other 2 instances, right? They should be treated as one group. That's why I'm saying group here. So let me actually give a request to /grid. What this will do? This is a producer application. It will send a message to exchange. Exchange will send it to queue. Right? Let me run. Yes. Now let us see the console. Received greeting with message hello Prasad. So what? The consumer is listening for messages in hello in channel, and whenever it comes, it is printed, right? So that's about how to send and receive. Okay, this is a very simple application, but later I have a very good use case, a big use case when I'm discussing about microservices. I will actually implement this message driven microservices in a meaningful use case going on further. But now let me know if you have any doubts. Okay. So actually what this is a URL, a new URL where my code, my presentations all are present. So I'm just giving it over the chat. So let me tell you right now, there is one zip file called as micro 2020 April. This is a zip file which you have to download. Once you download that, here you will be having a workspace inside it, micro WS, whatever workspace inside it. Here there will be all projects whatever I created. Okay. In your Spring tool suite, you have to switch to this workspace. Whenever your Spring tool suite is started, it asks for your workspace, right? You have to switch to this workspace and all the projects will come, whatever, and they will be grouped like this. If you import all the projects, then grouping will not come. I have done a grouping. So you just have to switch your workspace to this one, to this folder. You will get all the projects like this. Then once I complete every topic, I'll ask you to work on an exercise. You have to work on a corresponding project, right? So how to work on the exercise? Where are the documentation? So again, in this zip file, once you extract this zip file, you can see there'll be something like micro lab docs where you'll be having documents. So here is my mdm.doc or message driven microservices. Here I have given step-by-step instructions how to work on project. Normally, whenever you are working, you have to complete some to-dos, right? So I said here open pom.xml and complete to-do. So here, if you open the pom.xml, I should have mentioned to-do. What is the to-do one? Uncomment the below dependency. Like that, you'll be working on this document, completing the to-dos, and you'll be arriving at the solution, right? A simple exercise. You can do it offline once I complete the next topic. I'll go to the next topic now. A very, very, very important topic, very, very confusing topic, a topic which is not understood by many experts also, domain-driven design. Once you master this, really, you'll be able to design microservices or any applications very easily by following this approach, right? Actually, there are a lot of books, a lot of blogs, a lot of tutorials online on DDD, but nobody has created a concrete implementation. So everybody was talking theoretically or conceptually about DDD, and I have somehow managed to actually make an application. And I'll show you one very good application on domain-driven design. This is for a use case of cargo handling. Like suppose in our India we have DTDC courier, right? DTDC courier. Suppose if I want to book a cargo, suppose if I want to send some cargo through DTDC, right? So you will be booking, right? So my application is for some company like DTDC where they can actually book cargoes, route cargoes, etc. I'll explain about my use case step by step. But before that, let us try to understand what is this DDD, domain driven design. Yes. Okay, please concentrate. If you miss these topics today, you will not be able to understand at all. So basically, domain-driven design. Slowly you'll understand the concept. Some of the concepts are confusing actually. I'll try to put it as simple as possible. So whenever you want to design an application using this approach, first step is to identify your problem space. What is the problem you are trying to solve, right? So, or what is the business domain you are going to solve? So problem space or business domain is a starting point of our DDD journey, and it defines the main business problem you are intending to solve using DDD. So taking an example, suppose if I'm writing an application for auto loans, like car loan, vehicle loans, etc., auto loans. So my domain is what? Auto loan management is my domain. So what is the problem space I'm solving? I'm going to write an application for auto loan management or vehicle loan management. This is going to be my core business domain or the business problem, right? So first step, okay, identify what is the domain. Identify the problem space for which we are going to propose a solution. Then another example of problem space. Suppose if you are working on retail banking, there are multiple problem spaces like checking account management is a problem space. Savings account management is another. Credit card management is another problem space. So you have to identify your problem spaces. Then once you identify the problem spaces, you have to identify the subdomains that involves identification of subdomains essentially involves breaking down of your business capabilities of main business domain. So you have to identify sub-modules or subdomains. For an example, in my auto loan management problem space, I have identified subdomains like originations is one subdomain, servicing, collections, these are subdomains. Okay, what do I mean in our use case? Let me exactly tell you. In auto loan management, what we need to give loans, right? So somehow the flow starts with creating a new loan application. Is it origination? See, what is this originations subdomain all about? This subdomain takes care of business capability of issuing new auto loans. So how to issue a new loan or lease, right? So whatever business capabilities related to issuing new loan belongs to this module originations subdomain, right? Servicing is another subdomain that takes care of business capability of servicing. That means generating monthly billing, monthly payments, etc. That will be taken care by servicing. And collections subdomain, it takes care of the business capability of managing these loans if something goes wrong. Suppose if a customer defaults on a payment, what to be done, right? Everything is taken care. The logic or the business related information will be taken care by this collections subdomain. So first step is I identified my problem space is auto lease management. And once I know my problem space, I again categorize or identify subdomains. So my auto loan management is a domain which I want to solve. Under that, based on the business capabilities, I identified my subdomains, right? So for example, if you take an example of credit card management domain, in credit card management also there are a lot of subdomains like product management. Again, credit card, they may be having a lot of products. Billing management, claims management, these are all the subdomains of credit card if you take a credit card domain, right? So the next thing is a very important and a confusing one, bounded context. Again, you need to understand about bounded context. Bounded contexts are nothing but design solutions to our identified business domains or subdomains, right? Let me just tell you with an example here. See, on the left side, here we identified what is our problem space, right? In our problem space, what is our problem space which we are trying to solve? Auto loan management. We can say that this is a domain. Auto loan management is one domain, and these are all the subdomains. So when I want to design an application, let's say I decided I'll write one single application for the whole domain. So what is my whole boundary? My application boundary will contain these modules, servicing module, originations and collections. So this is a solution space. When I want to design for a solution, I decided to go with a monolithic application. I can of course go ahead with, right? So if I go ahead with a monolithic application, I want to provide a solution like a monolithic application, then I can say that I am going to design one single bounded context, one single context for the whole application, right? What are its boundaries? It should implement the functionalities for the whole domain, right? So if I decided to if I decided to implement a monolithic application, there will be only one single bounded context. Or suppose if I decided to implement microservices, what I can do is I can have 3 bounded contexts. For each subdomain, I'm going to create one application. Origination is one bounded context, servicing will be one bounded context, etc. So if I'm designing a solution to decompose into multiple bounded contexts, see here, These are nothing but our microservices. Each microservice will be our one bounded context. Why the name context? What is the context of this servicing? Whatever logic is required to generate monthly billing, monthly payments, etc. That is a context. Servicing is a context. And it is having its boundaries. It should expose some functionality related to the servicing only, right? So it is having one context. What's the purpose of it, right? And it is having its boundaries. It cannot have logic other than servicing. That's why the name bounded context. So for our problem space, what we can do is we can decide to go with a monolith. In that case, our whole monolithic application, we call it as one single bounded context. So our solution space is having single bounded context. It's a monolith. But if in my solution space, if I create one application for each subdomain, then I can say that each application is nothing but its own bounded context, right? So coming to the next thing, domain model. What is this domain model? So till now what I did, I identified my problem space, domain, subdomains. Then I thought, okay, let me implement each subdomain as its own bounded context. Now it is in the design phase only. We have to start implementing it, right? So domain model is the implementation of core business logic within a specific bounded context. So when I say that I am implementing bounded context, that means I'm actually designing my domain model. Domain model is an implementation of the business logic within one bounded context, right? So just think about whatever I have told. Problem space, identify domains, subdomain. Then decide how you want to design. You want to design a single application with single bounded context. You want to design multiple bounded contexts. That means for each domain, you want a separate application. That means multiple bounded contexts. Okay. You decide to go with some multiple bounded context. Now let us take one bounded context or one application. How to implement it? That means we have to write our domain model, right? So we have to identify these all 5 things. Whenever I want to implement, I need to identify, okay, in this bounded context, how many business entities are there? What are all the business rules, business flows, business operations, and business events? Let us see. In technical terminology of DDD, this translates to aggregates or entities or value objects, domain rules, sagas, commands, queries, or events, right? So basically, in your organization, if you are working on any application, you will be having your domain expert, right? Business analyst. So business analyst is the one who knows about the business very much than a developer, right? So in business language, your business analyst will have to identify in the business what are all the entities or what are the business rules, flows, operations. But I am a technical person. I may not be able to understand whatever a domain analyst or domain expert or business analyst is speaking. For me, these business entities, for me, they are nothing but, in my technical language, it is aggregate or entities or value objects. So business entities map to aggregates. Business rules, we call it as domain rules, and business flows, we call them as sagas, and business operations are nothing but commands and queries, and events are nothing but events. So simply in this diagram, you can see in one bounded context, you have to identify your business analyst will identify what are all the business entities, rules and flows and all. you, the developer, for you, this will be translated to these things. Right? Just see this diagram for a minute. In DDD technical language, we are going to use this terminology. Okay. Okay, slowly I'll introduce about each of this terminology with an example, don't worry. So what is an aggregate? You need to understand. Aggregate is the central business object within your bounded context, and that defines a scope of consistency within that bounded context. Let me show you with an example. Let's take an example of order management.
Thanks for watching. Want to study further? Join our training programs today.